So tell me about being on your own for.
Yeah, so being on my own, I cut my own hair and I need a little help in the back. There's some sections I couldn't reach. So I'll need you for that one. I cut my own hair, I colored my own hair. Um I redid the whole bathroom while you were gone. So I wallpapered the whole bathroom, hung up some deer skulls in there, put up some new shelving, got some crown molding. Just all the things, redid the shadow box, put in new glass shelves. That project took a little while. But it came out very good, very good. Then I started tearing down all the backsplash in the bathroom. That I haven't finished yet. So I figured if I start it, at least, now I have to finish it, whether you're home or not. Um, what else did I do? I went and watched Reagan, the doggy poo, for a few days up in Ramona and spent quite a few days looking for turkeys. Just to come to the realization that they only live on private land in California, and turkeys refuse to live on any sort of public that you can access because it's surrounded by private. Um and
Oh, geez, oh, peak.
I went to the Bear Ash shoot.
Oh, yeah, Larry.
Hetty.
That's fun.
And that's all the things I think I did. It was plenty of things to keep me busy for 10 days or so.
I'm jealous that I missed the Bear shoot 2 years in a row. I think somewhat fed by the narrative that's going to come up later in this video. I almost think people think, like some of the locals, that that's like intentional on my part. It's definitely not. I've been gone. Last year I was in Texas. This year I was in South Africa. Yeah, this year South Africa. That of course gets spun into me like, I don't know, being like a hater.
Have you heard that from any?
I remember hearing that. Yeah. But yeah, I would love to make it.
It's for the person who, goes to like probably in the, world of people who think they're in the influencing world or social media or content creator world or whatever you may call it, of San Diego. Interesting thought, considering you're one of those people who go to probably the most.
Yeah, it's not even
out of anybody.
It's not even
in that category.
It's not even debatable. And I go film and promote it. And also, you also have to keep in mind numbers do matter, and my numbers are the biggest. So not only do I go, but I also do videos and I get the biggest numbers. The people that were saying like, oh, like James, we don't sport, like they first of all do no numbers, they do no videos, and they don't show up.
Yeah. Crazy.
What are we talking about? What? But
well, I will get into that. So,
but yeah, I think that this has been a podcast that needs to happen for a long time, and I just flew for about 27 hours straight. Just so everyone knows, I literally just got off the plane, just got home.
I made you take a shower because you
need and what? Oh, I did, but the truth of the matter is that, like, the grind doesn't stop. I don't look at what I do as a job. I feel like I'm always having fun doing what I would do anyways, and I still feel like that. But sometimes after 27 hours of flying, you would like to just chill. But this is a podcast that's super important, and this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long, long, long time, because and I'm gonna let you lead it because we kind of have we've kind of talked about it, but the truth of the matter is, I haven't talked about this situation, which the reality of most of the people listening don't know shit about this. Most of the listeners don't know shit about this. It's maybe 100 locals that know about this, right? And this podcast is for them. So if you're not one of those people, sorry, you might want to check out. But for me, I've been waiting for the day to talk about this because I took good guidance, from what I thought myself, from what Matt told me, from what my parents told me, from advice, from what you told me, from what people were giving me, was the best approach I could do was to not say anything. And that's what I did for multiple years while I let people talk shit about me and gossip like 12-year-olds behind my back. And I knew it was happening because people were coming back to me. And all I did, of the person with the biggest platform of the 3 people in it, by a long shot, I mean, bigger than both of the other 2 combined times 10, still bigger, I chose to not say anything. And I'm very, very proud of that.
Yeah.
But now is my time to give my piece. And after this, I'm never going to talk about it again. This is it for me. But I'm still not going to say their names, because the reason these people brought me in anyways was because they wanted to use me because I was more famous than them. Let's just be realistic. That's why. And I'm not going to give them any shine by saying their names. If you know who they are, that's great.
For the 100 locals.
But if you don't,
understand the story.
But if you don't, I'm not giving it. The tea is still great. Trust me, the tea is still great, but I'm not telling you who it is.
Yeah. And I will say, you before we get into the questions and whatnot that I have to kind of help facilitate.
Yeah, you wanted me to clap them.
From the get-go, I was let's clap back, and it's just me. It's my personality. It's not that it is like sitting back and taking it. I think that's the way some could view it. But in my mind, I feel like it's a personal assault.
It was.
Of which
it was.
I cannot do. My personality does not allow for it. I can't just sit back and take it. I will clap back. So.
Oh, and let me respond to that, and then let's get into the list. The only reason that I took that approach is, one, I thought it was more professional than gossiping. I always say, let immature people play in the mud. So I let them play in the mud. I never
play in the mud.
Well, I never did that. So, like, you would go to the bow and arrow shop, for example, and people would be talking shit about me, the guy who'd been there since 2000.
They had heard and talking at themselves.
Hold up, a guy who'd been there since 2005. 2005 got more hunting talent than both of these individuals by a mile. Let's just be realistic. Got more clout than both of them by a mile.
One has next to none, almost, period.
But both of them are in there talking shit about me, like they're better, talking down to me after I gave them a platform.
Yeah.
There's no chance, Brett. So all I did was say, how I'm going to win this. I wasn't even trying to win, but how I'm going to get past this without getting canceled, because let's be realistic. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to cancel me, get me out of here. The only way I was winning that was by showing up as myself, unapologetically, just moving forward. And then I saw the biggest year of growth in my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But let's hop into the question.
So I'm gonna facilitate, and let me get my teacher glasses on here.
And I'm posting this shit. By the way, I'm posting this unedited because I just don't care anymore. What are they gonna do to me? Both of them are retired.
So
they're retired.
I'm gonna guide.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guide, facilitate, and lead this conversation. And you're gonna remain calm.
I'll try.
There's no anger in this. This was years past now.
Yeah.
So this story, kind of like you see the warning disclaimer, only for professionals or whatever. This story is given from the viewpoint of 1 or 2 maximum people only. It's their personal recollections of events and statements made and things that took place. So for anybody watching who has an inkling of understanding of this story, just keep in mind that this is from, I wouldn't call it perspective, because I don't like that in our personal opinion.
The reality is
your take.
Sure. But the reality is anyone who knows about this story has heard me slandered heavily. That's just,
we're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna get into.
So I wanted to.
We want these people.
But you go ahead. Start.
I think the way I'd like to start this is.
That's a whole list.
I say it. He being TMZ.
Yeah, TMZ is like gossip channel. Shitting on it.
I didn't understand that was it, but
That's actually what I'm. You want to start there? You want to start on the TMZ shit? Let's do that. So this guy, one of the two dudes, well, one is a dude. Anyway, one of them put up this post one time, just obliterating. In his opinion, he's obliterating. Ironically, now my friend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Josh Bomar. Shout out to Josh Bomar, a dude of much more integrity than the people we're talking about.
Yeah.
Not even debatable, right? He shits on him. It's heavy to his 1,000 followers.
Just randomly out of...
No, Josh don't know who this guy is. You know what I mean? And he goes, what do my followers think? Should I keep doing this? So I call him as a friend at the time. And I said, yo, I think this is like a horrible look.
Well, I was there for this conversation.
Okay.
I know that you're going to start to get a little heated throughout this conversation. But I will say your take on the conversation was very level-headed. I think you started out the conversation something like along the lines of saying like, you know, you asked for your friend's opinions, so that is what I'm giving you. I know you may not like it, but you asked for it, so here's my truthful opinion. So that's how the whole conversation started. Like, one, this person asked for his friend's opinions and takes on what was posted.
Right.
And their thoughts on him doing this. And you gave it.
Yeah,
So
and at the time we were super tight as well. So I thought, which I learned later was inaccurate. We'll get into that later. But I gave an opinion as a caring friend. And I said, I'll be honest with you, I think this makes you look like a jealous hater. And his response was, well, you know, so many of these influencers, which, by the way, he's trying to be at the time.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's trying to be an influencer.
Yeah, well, when you're talking about what do my followers think, like, you can't claim that you're not trying to be an influencer.
I digress. I say to him, I said, hey, look, if you're going to hate on...
Well, I don't think you finished saying, because I cut you off, what his response to you saying, you look like a jealous hate.
Well, I said, oh, yeah. So I said, you look jealous right now. I'm just being honest. You look jealous because this dude's richer than you, more successful. He's got a hotter wife than you. Just be realistic. Right? And he goes, oh, well, no, I just, you know, sometimes people have these followers and they think like blah, blah, blah. Basically, it was like he basically doubled down on what I said. And like, I don't like him because he has followers. And I said, I verbatim, I said, if you dislike him because he has lots of followers and fans and clout or whatever, it's only a matter of time till you hate me and cut me out.
Say that.
I said that verbatim. I shit you not, within 2 months, this dude tries to cancel.
So let's continue. I'm going to kind of go in and keep checking in on the weeks occasionally.
I think that's a crazy part.
It is. It's almost like a crazy foreshadowing to this whole situation.
Yeah, we kind of jumped forward, but it actually has been start.
Yeah. But so we're going to kind of go in chronological order, I think, here in a sequence of events. So we're going to roll back time.
By the way, his battery may die. If so, I'll replace it. We'll keep going. But this pod might be longer than normal because I really want to dive into each of these topics because I'm never touching this again.
You'll make a little edit here. But I do want you to try to stay level-headed. Like,
no. We don't need to. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, we're going to roll back time here to your first archery shoot that you put on or put on in collaboration with. Now, I'm going to preface that to people, and you may include this in your story as well, so you can elaborate if you'd like. But this was not the first shoot that you had. And this shoot took place in 2020, your first official one that was put on in 2022?
2022.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
3, 4, 5. Yes, because it's the third year Bodhisipus Challenge.
2022.
Yep. This was not the first shoot that you had ever had planned.
Correct.
You had, and this comes into an important fact later in the story.
Majorly key receipt.
Major key receipt. Everybody put a check mark here in the conversation and note it, highlight it in your textbooks.
Yep.
You had planned to put on a shoot previously. Tell me about that first.
Yeah, so but I'll say it was actually somewhat inspired by one of the two people I had beef with, because I have no problem getting people shine if it's true. But one of these two people actually had put on a couple shoots and they went really well. And I thought it was super cool and I was inspired by that. And I was also inspired by Total Archery Challenge and what my friends in Yuma do. I was inspired by a lot of things. So anyways, in 2020, I had a discussion with Bear State Bow Hunters about doing a shoot, collaborative shoot. On
2 years prior to the first shoot you ever collaborated to put up.
Yeah. To be honest with you, it was probably a little bit premature in hindsight. I don't think I had the clout at the time to sell the tickets. And so it's in a way a blessing it didn't pan out. But the truth of the matter is I met with the board. I was at the restaurants. Like we had all the meetings. In fact, I can go pull it out the Google Drive. It's not a lie.
I said flash it.
I have it done. The promotional video as well. Reel. And I know the song, like I know everything I used for it. The name was trash. Like I wasn't good at the time. I really wasn't, but it was planned 2020.
And then what happened?
Well, hold on. There's one other key part. It was supposed to replace the date of the Oak Valley Challenge, which is the third weekend of May for decades. That's been the weekend of the Oak Valley Challenge.
So
by the way,
hold a third weekend of May.
Very key point to this as well. And yeah, long story short, I was literally a week out from putting out the promotional video and COVID hits.
Yeah.
And the shoot gets shut down and we don't do it. And that's the truth of the matter is that, we had it, every T was crossed, T was crossed, I was dotted, everything was ready, contract, everything was finished. And, the only thing that toppled it was COVID, but it was ready. So.
Okay. So let's fast forward now to a little less than 2 years. You'll have to fill me in on the details as well as the viewers here. I don't know if it was a call, and probably was an IG DM or something. And you get asked to go shoot at Morley Field with somebody. And that's where this kind of all starts. So just tell me how that relationship with this person began.
Yeah, so I was aware.
And you can preface who this person is.
I'm not going to say.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll do it. This is the person who you put on, one of the two who you put on.
Yes.
Your first.
This is where
this is where the relationship.
Yeah.
Started.
Yeah. So, anyway, I think, probably was an Instagram message. I would have to dig back in the archives, but I think that's probably what it was. Me and this individual meet up at Morley Field to shoot, and I was apprehensive because I had the other, so funny how it works out, I had the other person of the two in my ear that like, oh, that person is trash. All they care about is influencers and stuff like that, which you can't
at the time.
But, well, hold up, you just can't even make up the irony, right?
Yeah.
So I go meet up with the other one. And we shoot together. And we have fun. It's just the two of us. Me and her shooting, having a good...
Now, this is not the time that somebody else came. I still won't name names, but somebody else came and you were told, oh, they're famous.
No. I was much later.
Okay.
That was much later. I'll get to...
So you have fun. I remember you coming back and saying you had fun. And because of what I had also heard from the same other person, I know I remember telling you how I was a little apprehensive of this person. And you said,
do you want me to talk about the shoot more? Of our time
oh,
at the range?
sure, yeah. If there's more details to that.
Yeah, there's a little bit more. So we shoot, and the personality's harsh. It's a brash personality, but I'm kind of drawn to that, to be honest, in some ways, with different people. So I was like, I heard the message, and look, the reality is, even then, I knew that this person doesn't have the hunting experience as me. They don't have the shooting skill as me, not even in the same stratosphere.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that. That's okay. You don't have to be a superstar hunter to like do something cool, right? So I'm just hearing the message and analyzing, because even at the time, and I bet I had 6,000 subscribers, even then I was way bigger, right? So to me, it was important to, like, if I'm going to co-sign something, I need to make sure that I think it's genuine and with good ethics in mind. And I left there and went, you know what? I do think that this person has like good goals and ambitions, and I came home and I told you that. And that's when you told me, hey, I would be careful. Something to me seems real sketchy, red flaggish. You did say that.
And at the time, it was a bit of like, that was, I mean, gosh, younger in our relationship.
Couple of years.
Of knowing each other.
You're in.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't even know if we were at the 1 year mark by the time that like you went to shoot. And so it probably could have come off at the time of like a, I should like the fact, yeah, jealous girl. It could just be,
I didn't even take it that way. Yeah, but
yeah,
put up.
but, so it just the stars couldn't align at the time to take, my thought, and at the time, what you were being told from, ironically, the other person.
You can't.
But so, is that it to the shoot that day? Your introduction to this person?
Yeah. So anyway, I talked to you about it, and I think to myself, I go, you know what? I think this is a good opportunity for me to help her and make her event bigger. But before I did that, I wanted to make sure I actually went to one of her events.
Yep.
So I went up there with my dad, and by the way, I have receipts, right? The video I put on YouTube. It's not on there anymore, but it's still unlisted. So don't get it straight. I got it if we need it, right? So I go up there. I shit you not, Brianna. There's like 12 people at the shoot. I'm not kidding. I have it on film. So unsafe. This course is so unsafe. It's unbelievable. Right?
And we've been to a couple different unsafe shoots. But
anyway,
okay.
I digress. I go film it. We leave. It's in the video. Once again, I say, I don't really know what it is. You can tell I'm being so honest. I go, I don't really know what this is, but I believe that this lady has good intentions. I say that in the video. I shit you not.
I have to go back and watch this.
Yeah, I have receipts, right? So anyway, that was when I made the decision. I go.
So let me ask you a question. Were you approached in that first meeting of this person asking you to hang out and shoot bows at Morley? Were you approached right away, that first meeting, about the potential, the talk, discussion of like collaborating on a shoot?
No, that was my idea. This is my idea. The setting part, yeah. So
okay.
But so I do the event at her house, film it, and I go, okay, I would like to help her.
Yeah.
I shit you not. I go, I would like to help her. I think I can bring it from 12 people to like maybe closer to 100 with my platform at the time. Just so nuts. But honest to God, hand on the Bible, I call her and I said, hey, look, I want to do this event with you and collab on it. I think these are some good ideas, but I'm not doing it unless this other guy can do it too.
Yeah. And you wanted him, you can explain that a little bit to...
I wanted him to build the courses. That was kind of like his signature thing.
Yep.
I said, unless he can do it, I'm not in.
Because this person had already previously set up courses before.
Right. Yep. And I hadn't at the time. And she says, okay, yeah, that's great. Sounds good. So I call up the other guy. Hey, here's what I'm thinking. Blah, blah, blah. He goes, I don't really mess with her. Like, I don't think I'm in.
Yeah.
She's too much of an influencer for me, essentially. Remember, he hates influencers.
Mm.
And I said to him, hey, I understand what you're saying. I've kind of caught that a little bit too, but I just want you to give it a thought. I gave her a chance, and I believe that what she's doing is authentic. So I think you should give it a shot.
Yeah. Wow.
They end up agreeing to it. So the three of us, it works out. 3 amigos, we're doing a shoot. Everything works out.
So you're going to use one person.
But key point.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one with the idea to do it. And I put the other 2 people together. They didn't even want to be friends. They didn't fuck with each other at all. So keep that in mind. Very important.
Yeah, definitely. So,
and this is all true, by the way.
To summarize so far, and you want to hang in there because it seems like, well, where's the tea?
I think there's already
there already. What's crazy is how this all.
Do you think either of them will reach out to me after this?
Who knows? Probably.
I think they're so far retired they can't. But yeah.
No, you'll hear about it. It won't be through them. I already got a person in mind.
It's what you call a sublime. Like my shots aren't sublime. I'm just telling you like a little story.
Well, you'll hear from somebody who's heard.
I know this. I know.
Yeah. But anyways, so to summarize, you then have reached out to her about helping to collaborate on an event. You tie in the other person to build the courses. You're going to market the event, and you're using the other person's land to host the event.
Yeah, essentially, one's offering land, one is offering course building, one is offering promotion. And don't get it twisted, and I don't really care about this. This is not my sword to die on, but I'm not a bitch when it comes to work. So I promise I'm always down to work. But on physical shit, building course, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I build all of Bo Disciples courses, right? With help. But my point is, during that course build, which, by the way, was like the easiest course build of all time. It's 10 acres, but it's not that hard.
We're talking about how you're not afraid to build courses or help.
Exactly, yeah. I'm not a bitch of, labor. So I think that... I think that one of the narratives a little bit that was spun was that,
didn't help.
James didn't do shit. And it was like, well, first of all, I was already traveling a lot for BD at the time. I had just kind of started really taking it serious. So I was gone all the time. But when I was home, I would help. And number one, in the biggest factor is it's irrelevant, even if I helped at all, because I sold all the tickets.
Yeah.
Almost all of them. So it doesn't really even matter, but I promise I'm not avoiding.
Now, at the time, did the tickets run through your Shopify?
Oh, I wish through her Shopify. So unfortunately, all the numbers, of course, are fake shit.
So you are, and that's a topic to discuss. Yep. But so you are marketing the event. YouTube videos, shorts, Instagram,
and I had
all of them.
And I had by far the biggest platform of the 3.
Yeah.
And this was when I shit you not, I probably had 1,000 on Instagram, less than 1,000 on TikTok, no Facebook, and 4K on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I still had miles away the biggest platform.
Only 3 years ago. It's crazy.
Oh, I can't wait to say the numbers a little bit.
But so the event takes place.
Yep.
Anything you'd like to touch on during the event itself? I know there's some drama.
I got a couple. So the event went pretty well. I was actually really proud of it. I thought the venue sucked. It was way too small, but as far as like how it was
Crowd that you brought in.
that I brought in. But I was very proud of it. I thought it went pretty well. Lots of people came. People had a lot of fun. Yeah, one thing I do want to touch on is the main individual, really the one dude. So there's a lady and a dude in this story. It's mostly the lady that's like the main perpetrator. We do a booth, right? A co-booth of Bow Disciples and Bow and Arrow Shop booth right next to their company's booth.
Yeah.
My mother, who's like at this time probably 68 years old.
Yeah.
Sits there all day in the sun to help sell not only my stuff, but other people's stuff as well, help with check-in. This woman didn't talk to her one time.
Really? I don't think I knew that.
Not one time.
Huh.
Just to avoid, because she doesn't care about people unless she thinks she can get something from them. So the reason she loved me so much or pretended to be my best friend, until she thought, we'll get to that later. There became a turning point where she chose not to be my friend. But the reason she was my friend in the to begin with was because she thought that she could leech off me, essentially. And she did. It worked. Yeah. Oh, it worked.
For a little while.
For a little while.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Connie gets ignored the entire event.
Facts. And by the way, that's not me saying that. I can get my sweet mother on here to say that.
Yeah.
I'm telling truth.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to go to the Bow and Arrow shop and spread gossip about someone who.
And we're gonna get to all of. So let us keep going, because this could be like 3 hours long if we.
And I hope if
we don't stay on track. So.
Yeah, if I need to stop talking, you just cut it and go to the next house.
So, the event ends.
Oh yeah.
How?
Another banger. Yep. I know exactly the part you're getting to.
How quickly do you begin to hear?
Yeah, so the event finishes, and I had a conversation, just me and this lady. It was in a corral. I remember exactly where it took place. Like I could go plant our feet in the same place it happened. I have a memory like that when it comes to conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wow, what a cool event. It's going to be really hard for us to top this. And she goes, oh, yeah. I can top it easy. I've done it many times. Just shit on me immediately when I said us. She didn't want it to be us. She wanted it to be her. And I go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I just kind of like.
Was that a clue at any point? Then did it start to register you?
Oh, yeah. No, that one felt like I got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I see. So my guard automatically was up then.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that was my first like
red flag.
Very, very
for you.
Well, I had a few, but that was the first one that was like you can't even ignore it. It's so clear.
We could jump back to the giveaway thing that happened.
Oh, the giveaway is great. I'll touch on it real quick and we'll move on. So basically, I bagged a giveaway for a bow from shout out to Bow and Arrow Shop, and actually. Another ironic one.
That was a viewpoint they had that was wrong of you. But that's the side piece. That's the man saying this stuff, gossiping.
The other lady used like women more than me.
For sure. But we don't even need to get into that. That's not part of the tea. But so you're hearing this from your friend who works with a bow company.
Yeah, Margaret.
The day after the shoot, you find out that she is bashing you for multiple reasons.
Yeah. Saying like
this whole company.
Literally telling the company, like, you should not entertain or mess with this guy at all because of these reasons. Like, literally tarnishing my character. Thankfully, I had a real one there who told me this, right, fresh off the press. But what's ironic as time goes by is I get kind of emotional sometimes thinking about like how all this stuff's played out. But ironically, that same brand, I'm not going to say who, They offered me a bunch of money. Years later. A bunch.
Not in years. It was like
2 years later, they offered me a bunch of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll do get into how, the lessons were learned that, it is good to not clap back sometimes. We'll get it.
I made the right move.
You did.
I'm not even clapping now. If I wanted to.
No, you're telling your factual understanding the sequence of events of
I'm telling the truth.
how the tea began. So we have really this could be the halfway point, but we have just hit where the tea explodes. Okay, this is where things go nuts.
Yeah.
So you have come to the realization that you're exiled, you're cut out, you're not a part of any future events.
Right.
So you go on you go back to Bear State to pick up what did not happen back in 2020.
Mm. Yeah, and I told both of those people I was going to do it as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. But yeah, I told them. So I told them both. I said, hey, I'm going to go talk to them, see if they want to re-up, and we'll go from there. In the span of me having that conversation and then getting cut out, I had the conversation and I was like, well, obviously I've been cut out, so I'm like, I'm not going to like rope them back into some shit they just cut me out.
So you're like, in a professional business standpoint, like, your business ties together are complete. They weren't ongoing to begin with. Like, they were complete after the first event.
Yep.
There's no contract to do more than that. There's no contract to do the first one. Like,
I thought we had loyalty as friends, but that obviously wasn't true.
Yeah.
So anyway, I sign. We do the deal with Bear State, make it happen. Here's what happened. So we had planned to. I don't like long rollouts on promotion. I'm big on like rap albums. Yeah. So I love when stuff's like a surprise release, basically.
A midnight drop.
I love a midnight drop. So basically, I had it planned that like, okay, we're gonna drop the tickets. I think it was March 1st.
It was February. Sorry, it was March 1st. Yes, it was.
And basically, they had like a little insurance issue or something like the night before. So they're like, oh, we can't do it yet. It's gonna take another week. So I was like, okay, we'll wait to pop the tickets up for a week. Ends up that the other party ended up putting their tickets up like March 5th. Remember, mine were planned to come out March 1st. But the most important key to the cog is that our shoot replaced the Oak Valley Challenge just as it was supposed to in 2020. This shoot was already on the local 3D calendar and every other 3D calendar for a decade.
Yeah.
So then my shoot, Motorcycles Challenge, launches, I believe it was March 7th, a few days after their tickets came out. And our shoot was 2 weeks before theirs.
January event took place. You were exiled. You moved on, talked to Bear State, went back to your original plans of the 2020, taking over the Oak Valley Challenge and replacing it with Bow Disciples Challenge. And you wait to put your tickets out until they resolve their insurance issues. Their tickets come out. I want to say theirs came out on March 1st, but that's here nor there. Your tickets don't.
March 1st.
Yeah, yours don't come out until a few days later.
Well, I actually ended up, this is another key point, but I actually ended up getting clearance to post the tickets like the day of, for the day after I wanted. But then they had already, of course, I didn't know because I was not in the loop. But their tickets came out for sale. And I shit you not, this is God honest truth. I go, well, I don't want to like smash their ticket sales.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll push it off a week and give them a week just for themselves, just because I want to be a nice, good guy and hang out like a happy, fun bunch. So I gave them a week and then my tickets dropped.
And then the tea began.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened? Well, I can't even, honest to God, remember half the conversations that have now taken place since then. There are text messages. There are phone calls, the text messages, God, if you could blur out the name and put them on the screen, it'd be insane.
Oh, if it ever came to the point where it was like, oh, she really want to go there? Oh, I can go.
They were brutal.
I can go.
I mean, it was like you were talking to a crazy person.
Well, everyone's seen them too. That's the thing. I got so many people that have more they can say. I mean, I got loads in the clip.
But so,
your
event launches.
Yeah.
March 7th or whatever it was.
So the event launches, well, first of all, we were still too small at the time, really. BD1 went really well. I'm very proud of it. But our event was 2 weeks before hers.
Yep.
But as I said before, the same date was a shoot anyways. At the same place.
Yeah, regardless, a shoot was going to happen now.
At the same place.
Yeah.
But when it launches, it's like, oh my God. He's trying to kill us. He's doing a shoot on a date too close to ours. And I go,
here's what the initial blow up
was. No, it was. I know it was.
Yeah.
And I go, what do you mean? There was already a shoot. Well, and then the text said, I shit you not, the text said, well, that shoot had nothing to do with us. Yours does. And I go, how? It's the same shit.
Yeah.
What? Because it's 2 days instead of one, which, by the way, was Bear State idea. I don't see you having a beef with them, but guess what? You never showed up to their shit anyways. Because you never go to anything except your own stuff.
I'd never seen this person
Not
at a single
time, bro.
Balboa shoot, an alpine shoot, or a Lake Henshaw.
What blowy smoke? It's fake. It's fake.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then I get this huge blowback. I get a phone call. How dare you do this? Do what? You cut me out. You cut me out. You used me for my platform, then tried to cancel me. Now I'm just going to do my own shit with someone who actually likes me. What do you mean? And then, oh my God. I mean, at that point, the drama, I couldn't walk into, hold on. I couldn't walk into the bow shop without feeling like I was going to get shot. I'll just be realistic. Everyone took their side.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because I didn't talk about it. I wasn't gossiping like a 12-year-old girl. I went, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah. So one of the dramas that I heard, whether it was from the bow shop.
Not only bow shop, this was happening everywhere.
Yep. And just local, like, people that you know and whatnot.
Gossip styles.
Yeah. Was that, well, James, you should have just told them.
I did.
Hold on. But you should have, when you decided, you should have reached out to them.
No, I shouldn't.
So
after permission, Britt. Oh, like, what are we talking about?
This is my point. So that was initially one of the biggest blow-ups was that
you already showed me out with that asking.
To like a parent asking for permission. You should have called to let them know. I think it's even in the text messages, which is why I think you should pull them up and
I'm not.
Doesn't say not that proud.
I'm not doing that.
That's the best way to be factual. I mean, they wrote it, not
all I'm telling is facts. I'm not gonna do that.
But so what some of the texts say were like, you should have called to at least let me know so we could work something about to figure out scheduling when our tickets come out or things like that. Like, please, if you can explain to me why you owe them that.
I don't.
Or why that would be required at all. Is there any answer to it? Because I don't. To me, there's not.
Well, yeah. So, anywho, BD1, it happens, right? The event happens, and this lady, I'm leaving out a few key components, but that's okay. Like, I have been at the gym where she blew up on me and told me that I stole all their ideas, which is wildly inaccurate. I'm the first one to say I use inspiration from others, but I was not inspired by you. And I would say I was inspired by Tack. I was inspired by Yuma, and I said that in the text. But you go, oh, you're stealing all of our ideas. I go, I haven't stole one of your ideas. I'm a lot more creative than you. Let's just be realistic. If I'm gonna steal ideas from anybody, it's not gonna be you. Don't big yourself up too much. Anyway, the shoot goes on, smashes, right? Which, by the way, remember, this is such another key part. The problem was that my event was too close to hers, right? That was the problem. 2 weeks apart. She puts her SCI event the same night as mine.
Yeah.
She schedules it the same night in the same county. You know what I did? Nothing. I'm just going to do the best event I can. I didn't go call.
Like weren't there even stories on Facebook saying like from this person that they're not associated to your shoot whatsoever?
Absolutely
We do not.
Well, you didn't see him. I didn't see
did.
him. Matt didn't see him because everyone was blocked. But when I went to Morley and was just shooting with, to her, what she calls peasants, regular people that she doesn't care about, they were like, yo, what do you think about this place saying this? And I go, oh, I didn't even know about it, but doesn't mean shit to me.
So you get, once you launch your shoot, you become blocked on all social media.
And, let me tell my favorite. This person at the time had like a 7-year-old kid. He's big into archery, right? Likes fun, kind of likes the same shit I like. Dirt bikes, stuff like that. He's a big fan of motorcycles at the time. Big fan.
Irish and he'd come up and give you big hugs.
Yeah, give me big hugs. Love the videos. It's disgusting to even say, but she actually made him block me on Instagram and stuff. The 7-year-old child.
But so I think where you saw it physically.
Oh, I saw it at
Turkey tune-up.
I sit next to him and I go like 10 feet apart and I go to like wave as I've chatted with this kid before. Goes like this. And I'm like, dude, that's disgusting. As a full-grown,
you've taken out your insecurities and your petty
child
with your own child.
And a problem that you made up and started.
Yeah. And regardless of that.
Doesn't even matter.
When you involve your business dilemmas or personal dilemmas in your family and children's lives.
Yeah.
But you did.
So anyway, another key cog, I think, is that the BD1 goes down. Goes really well. I'm super proud of BD1. BD2 was a lot better, but BD1 was great. And it accomplished what the goal was. But I hadn't talked to her in... The last time I talked to her was I was at the gym and she blew up on me in text messages. Just absolutely blew up.
Mm-hmm. I remember there being...
I still have all the messages, so there's receipts if I need them. But she blows up on me. I haven't talked to her since then. BD1 goes off without a hitch. People are loving it. Her SCI event was that night, right? Remember, again, the whole problem is that my event is too close to her date. So then she puts an event on my same date.
Yeah, not petty at all.
Can we think about that?
Yeah.
Then it fires. Half the people at her event came from BD1 to the event. Who do I get a phone call from the next day?
I remember this. You got it from her.
You were with me in the living room.
Yep.
Hey, James, I'm so happy to hear your event went really well. I'm so proud of you. I just want to squash this beef and, I want to promote each other's stuff. I said, I will never promote your shit again.
Yeah. I think you said something along the lines like, I'll be amicable and professional, but I will never work with you again.
Of course. Why would I? You've proven me.
You were very
cool. Shit up twice. Yeah. Yeah. So then I said, no, I'm not doing that, bro. Then maybe a couple weeks later, I end up going to TAC with a girl who I had never shot with before, right?
Who is this one?
We don't have to say names.
Okay.
Never shot with this lady in my life. Never even knew her. I knew her through one of my other friends. She goes, yo, when we said that you were going to shoot here, I got these messages, like paragraphs from this person saying that, you, your dad, Brianna, and all your friends hurt her family. Reading me these messages.
Yeah. So, and I'll give a little bit more to that story and this is not on the person I know who you're talking about. It's not on the person who, did this or whatnot. It's not on them. They were affected by the manipulation
Big time.
of
Yeah.
this woman. So I remember when you asked if she wanted to cheat with you guys. I don't remember how you had heard about her or whatnot.
Through Whitney. I'll say Whitney because that's
yeah.
It's totally fire. Yeah. With one of Whitney's.
You share a story tagging her in it.
When we signed up.
Yep. And she reshares it or posts or whatever. And then all of a sudden, that story is pulled down.
Yep.
And we go looking. I mean, it's gone. She manually went in and deleted her story that she was associating with you.
Yep.
And I said, that's really weird, because the next thing that went up was something with her in association with this movie. I mean, I'm talking the same day, the same night. Like, we're not talking about days later. Your story comes down with her, and a story with this woman goes up. And this is, again, not on the person you went and shot with.
No.
They were manipulated by this woman.
Badly.
And
badly.
You get to tack, and she has now realized that this lady's crazy and shows you all of these messages. This lady just sharing with one. You're a terrible human, but not just you.
Not just to me. She read them to everyone in our group and showed us the messages.
Yeah.
So when I say I got receipts, like, I really mean that. Like, I'm
a terrible person, and Ted is a terrible person.
My dad, yeah.
Ted, the man who
just
will just do anything that you need or want, you ask him to do. He will figure out a way to do it.
He might do it, so he told you he did it, but he's gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
but my point is, like, just total.
So there's another event of where, you have now learned that she is going and shit talking about you to other people, to essentially what we have fairly confirmed in our own minds is to cancel you.
Yeah.
And that started
That's right.
day after the first shoot you ever did with her took place.
It was after one sentence that I said. It was after saying, this is going to be hard for us to top. That was it. Yeah. After that, it was like, nah, because I'll tell you the honest truth. I think she wanted to be the biggest influencer in our general area, and she thought that was me, and she thought that she couldn't accomplish it unless she took me down. And I think she thought it would work. And honestly, it almost did. I gotta say, so many people turned on me that it was like...
Yeah, and we have been...
But hold on. It was so disgusting. I'm actually very disgusted, and some people I have known a long time. And of course, now, years after, people aren't like that. They've reeled it back in and are cool, but that shit hurt really, really bad. To go, yo, you know me for this long, and you know this person for 2 years, and you're choosing them? Like, what is this? Obviously, as time's gone on, it's worked out how it's supposed to. I get a little emotional about it at times. Are you?
I'm checking things off.
I get a little emotional at times about it. Because, I call myself Christian light as a joke, right? Like, I don't claim to be the strongest Christian at this point in my life. But when I see how situations like this panned out, right? And how this woman and this dude, who at the time were relatively the same size as me, as far as influence went, they went on this mission together to tear me down and bring me down to nothing. Since then, I mean, I've literally gone mainstream. I'm like one of the biggest people in the space. 100K on YouTube, 75K on Instagram, 20 on TikTok, 30 on Facebook, 1,000. They're both retired.
Moving out soon.
That shit, like, it actually, like, I'm like choked up about it because I always say you can't fake authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And the one who was, there's a reason I'm where I'm at and they're where they're at. Like I said, crab in the bucket. I always say there's two types of mentalities. There's people that, they think their route to the top is by pulling people down from the top, crab in a bucket. And then there's people that just like think that there's plenty of pie for everybody and want to raise all ships. And that's personally always been my approach, but very obviously it was not this other individual's.
So I'm going to move you along here to, you kept quiet.
For 2 years.
2 years. Even for the first full entire year. I mean, to your quote unquote friends and locals here, you would not speak things to. So you were getting phone calls from locals, you were getting texts, people who had either were saying they were quote unquote waving the white flag or had clearly chosen a side and weren't really speaking to you, that you have known for 15 plus years.
At least a decade.
The biggest one,
Lady had known him for 2, maybe.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw this out there because this is, again, a part of the tea and just tells you kind of what type of person this is. So you're keeping quiet, and these people basically either kind of stop speaking to you or...
Not kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is hurtful to you.
Mm-hmm.
So one day you get an apology. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you want to insight as to why they finally, after a year, decided to give you an apology?
Yeah. So basically, like I said, I have been cold-shouldered, basically exiled. Still accepted, don't get me wrong. People are still letting me film videos with them or whatever because they want the benefits of it. But there was no friendship. People had exiled me as a friend. And I knew that, you know, if I just stay pure and don't dive in the mud with the kids, it'll work out over time. And it did, thankfully. But yeah, this person...
And I think this is why, like, the reason they gave you behind their apology is part of the reason why. Like, you keeping quiet and them seeing this person, at least, of the two.
Just some colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, basically to answer your question, though, this lady, like, also did the same thing with this person's partner.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different story. Hold on, let's backtrack.
There's multiple at the same. Yeah.
So you're at the shop one day, and this person comes and apologizes to you and says, "Hey, look, I don't fuck with a person like this. Like, I'm sorry for the way things have been."
The reality is I'm although I do consider myself a very moral person, actually. I think I really do believe that I know that, like, I really want people to win and be their best self and get shit done. I really believe that, but there are some people that just aren't like that. And not many. I truly believe more people are good than are not. But sometimes there is just snakes, and from a business sense, I can look at stuff enough from the outsider's perspective to go, okay, her plan of trying to cancel James, the biggest guy, wasn't bad. Like, really strategically, it wasn't bad.
No.
Her plan. But her execution was awful. And it didn't work. But my point is, like, I don't even disrespect the effort. I really don't. Because if your main goal in life is to be the biggest, baddest, best star, like all this, go for it. Try it. Like, I don't think it's right. That's not how I'm going to try to get to the top. But I didn't even look at it as like, I looked at it strategically, and I thought, like, in some ways her method wasn't bad. She just didn't have the talent to carry it out. Not from hunting, not from shooting, not from business acumen. This woman told me one time, she goes, James, I think you just have a lot to learn.
Oh.
I've been doing this way longer than you. And I go, doing what way longer than me? Have you been shooting longer than me? No. Have you been hunting longer than me? No. Have you been doing business longer than me? No. I've been doing this shit since 2010.
Yeah.
Business. Where are you trying to big dick me? What are you doing? Are you kidding me? And then my buddy Chuck goes, when the whole beef played out years later, he goes, I just don't think she knew, bro. Like, I don't think she knew how much you had done. And I'm like, it doesn't even matter, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I think, to me, in my personal opinion, I don't think Chuck's wrong at all. I think that plays a large part in it. But it's also, I don't think she understands it, nor do some other people in the world, like, who take the same method she does. That
some people are still going to choose your side after this.
Yeah,
which is
sure.
unbelievable.
That's fine,
Yeah, it's
good on them, whatever.
But you're a loyal bastard. Like bosses say, you are a loyal bastard.
I don't think it's loyalty. I think it comes down to this.
Brainwash a little bit, almost.
Not even. They just share the same characteristics.
Oh, like mega narcissism?
Narcissism, jealousy, insecurity.
Why do you...
And because of those things,
Yep.
they choose what they think is a route to...
It kind of feels like safety almost.
I guess.
Like, it's not so naive.
Yeah. It's just... I don't think she or people like this understand, and they can't because they're narcissistic or insecure. Oh, can I finish?
Yeah, finish. I got so many bars right now.
There's that authenticity will always win. So
yeah,
you can think the crab in the bucket method will work, but eventually your insecurities, your narcissism
catches up.
Will catch up, and it will show. And it did. It did for the bow shop. It did for others.
When this situation happened, and in my head I perceived as I got royally fucked by two people, and they tried to destroy my career. I don't want that twisted. They tried to cancel me. I just want that clear.
Yeah.
Since that happened, actually, as soon as it happened, in my head, I go, oh, you're going to regret that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were hosed. Like, I knew I was going to the moon because I knew I was real and they weren't. I was leading.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah.
I knew I was leading out of love, not hate. I knew it was to the...
Or disingenuous.
I just knew. Like, I knew it. I said, oh, you're in trouble now. Like, you're really in trouble. If you wanted to beat me, like, no way.
So what's your question?
My question is, why do you think, like, do you think it's a God thing? Do you think it's a person thing? Why do you think our career trajectories have gone such separate ways? Because, I mean, you almost can't make it more different. Two of them are retired. Done. Finished. One is gone from underground to mainstream in the space. Why?
Yeah. So
Why is that?
I think it's authenticity and true core values of why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And that plays into authenticity. But I think you're doing it like you started this whole podcast with, is you don't look at this as a job. You look at it as fun. It's your passion. It's what you love to do.
That's what I do anyways.
Yeah. I don't think that was their true. I don't think that's their true reason behind why they do what they do. That's not their why.
See that?
I think the why, it is fake. It in my personal opinion, anybody out there could argue differently, and that's okay. You argue differently. You are allowed your opinions. I do allow people to have opinions. But in my personal opinion, it's fake. They wanted clout. They wanted to be bigger than you. Yeah. And that goes back to clout. It wasn't because they loved to teach people a sport. It wasn't because they loved to hunt. It wasn't because they loved to get more people involved. It's none of those reasons. It's because they wanted attention. They wanted clout. They wanted to be viewed as the biggest. And that is never, in my personal opinion, going to get you anywhere. Or it's certainly not going to get you to where you want to be, because there's always going to be someone bigger. You could be the freaking president of the United States, and you could be like, I want, who knows what? I don't know. Well, you could want to be bigger than that, though. You could be the president of Georgia and be like, I want to be the president. He's bigger. There's always going to be someone bigger. So you're never going to get where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean,
you're chasing an endless, ball rolling down a hill, and
it's what we said on Band's podcast. The same exact thing we said on the Elk Shape podcast, which is also super ironic that we went on it. But, like, there's only 3 people that are like the biggest, and other than that, everyone is always going to be fighting to be, and you're never going to make it. The only ones that are there are Trump, Kim Kardashian, and I can't remember. I said one more. There's like, but those are the main 2. I mean, like, for female, you got Kim K. For males, you got Trump. It's like, other than that, everyone wants to be Kim K. and Trump. And the reality is, in the hunting space, the archery space, we're not going to get there.
No,
I'm never going to be Trump or Kim K. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm. But what is the biggest person in the outdoor? Not even just archery alone. You can name the biggest person in the outdoor world. My
Anthony Cam Haines is the biggest.
Yeah,
nowhere near Kim K, and he would say that
or whatever. But this just, like, to answer your question, that is my point. Like, that's what they want to be.
Yeah,
and that's what drives them. There's no authentic reason, and that's not authentic to me. Like, because you could do that. And as we've seen them do, jump from one field to another, like ping pong, or racquetball.
Not only fields, but friends too. You ever notice how many friends those people burn through?
Mm-hmm.
How many have I burnt through?
None.
Tell me.
None. Yeah, we still shoot with all.
Everyone from day one is still there.
Yeah.
What? So this is what I don't understand. The few people that bought into this narrative.
Yeah.
How? Just look at the resume. Look at the friends around. Look at everything. How?
Well, that's what I'm just interested.
It doesn't make sense. It's almost offensive. Like, I'm like, how did you buy this? Yeah. And are you still? There's a couple locals that still won't come to BD3 because of this.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see after this pod comes out if they listen to it or not. Who knows?
Oh, people are gonna listen.
And I've yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I have some names in mind in my head. But my thought is, when you hear the whole story, so we have now told in chronological order from beginning to end. I can't answer your question because I'm right there with you. Like, I can't. The only thing I not that I can understand it, because that's why I asked you the question, was back when I said, why do you owe them the phone call to collaborate on when tickets come out and whatnot, because that was a big beef
I didn't
in the argument.
really the
And that was a part of their. Yeah, for sure. And then that went on to like, well, you could have done this. You could have called and told us. We could have tried to work it out.
well, beef got changing this. It didn't work.
Well, but so it also changed because they were hearing it from the same person to the people who are then calling and talking to you. And I would love to know what their opinion is after they've heard this in chronological order, things that maybe they hadn't been told or maybe hadn't heard it in order or whatever, because I still can't, same as you, wrap my brain how, because
Yeah.
I can't even, like, the biggest thing to me they always kept bringing back was well, why didn't you just pick up the phone and call them?
I did.
Well, after you hear how it all took place in the beginning prior to the initiation of the beef of the events being launched, when you hear all the stuff before, how can you even argue the why didn't you call them part?
Yeah.
Even if you did,
Right.
how can you even argue that portion? Because you weren't the one who did the wronging in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You put on an event with them. At the end of the day, no ifs, ands, or buts. You put on an event with them. You helped them grow. And then it was radio silence.
And if you are
cut out, hold on, you were cut out. You were ignored. You were not told about.
And shit
on, as you've now told the world.
Well, and I knew was happening.
Yeah. And you sat quiet.
Yeah.
And
by the way, I'm half their age.
Yes.
And I'm still responding miles more mature.
Yeah. But I have to finish it.
Yeah, go ahead.
How can you, after hearing the first half of, and that's why I really wanted to take my time with that half of the story, because that's the part that I think always gets left out when locals ask questions and whatnot. How can you still go back to, well, you could have just done this to me? Why do you have to? You're running a business. They're running a business. You did what you were supposed to. Your business aren't associated to each other. Your events weren't associated, as they went on social media and said, your events weren't associated to one another. Your events weren't on the same dates as one another. Your launch dates were not on the same dates as one another. And besides your event, the event that your event replaced was still on that same weekend for decades. So why does it matter? Why did you still owe it to them? That was the argument that stuck for so long with the locals.
It was a personal problem.
Yeah,
and then,
but it's not just her. That's what I'm saying. So I'm interested to see when it comes
out. I think that here's the deal, right? And I think Josh Jones puts this really well. And I'm sure, like, I haven't talked to Cam about it or Paige about it, but I'm sure it exists for them too. But I have talked to Josh about it. And I think that when you're a local and you kind of like make it beyond the...
I know you talk about this.
Yeah, you make it beyond the
local sphere.
The local sphere, people just automatically sometimes just like their reaction's negative.
Yeah, there's a sphere of negativity until you then hit the next stage of your career, whether you call that national or mainstream or whatever word you want to put on it. And then there's a sphere of then acceptance and almost that reignition of excitement over what you first
Yeah, I almost feel like I've seen like 3 phases of that in this beef. I think at first it was like a bunch of people with no clout trying to like, I don't know, like clamoring, and maybe there was like intensity there. And then, even though I was the biggest in the beginning too, but then I became like a little bit even bigger. And then it was like, okay, then it was like this major torpedoes and missiles coming to like take down the guy with 10,000 subs. And then when it gets to like 60, 50, 60, 70,000 subs, it's almost like it sort of stops a little bit. Like, well, what are you going to do now?
We also talked about this, that I think it is difficult for, like, I think we either heard a pod or some. Oh no, when we were in Indiana, the guy was talking about the NBA player who comes back home sometimes.
Oh,
It's hard to recognize until you reach a certain point. It's hard to recognize you as someone other than
the
local kid who, has been coming to shop with his dad Ted since he was 5 years old, before it was even owned by the people it's owned by now. And I say people, like, I don't mean, I'm not trying to be rude. We're just trying to leave names. Oh, conversation. So I just don't want it to be taken that way. No, somehow it's what you're saying is valid. But I think that is a portion of it too. It does make it hard for anybody here to see you as anything other than the goofy guy, James.
And here's the deal, I've gotten so comfortable in my shoes that the stuff that I'll say now I wouldn't have said 2 years ago, right? Like I'm just like people. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it real, and if people think some shit I say is goofy or whatever, then it is what it is. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, like early on doing Bo Disciples videos at 3D shoots in 2018, 19, 20, 21, all the way till now, really. People would always kind of go wow, what are you doing with the camera at these shoots? Like, they almost kind of make fun of me, like a little bit, to be honest. And now, I don't know. It's like, the truth is, this sounds so cringe to say, but I'm a famous archer now. That's the truth. I'm one of the top guys, as far as maybe not top 10, but I'm definitely 10 to 20, I would say, for sure. And I think it's very hard for people to distinguish that. And then they see you pop up on a big feature or something, and they're like, oh, well, that's nice. He got lucky.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't get lucky.
You worked.
I've been doing that shit for years.
In the backgrounds is saying it is a job that you have worked hard at.
And I'm kind of honestly, I'm kind of tired of that. I'm kind of tired of people just not just giving props, at least just saying yo, good work, keep going. That's all I want. I don't need no one to pat me on the back, but I just want to feel as if what my work is respected. It's much like my brother, right, who's a fireman. He feels I would assume he feels respected at his job. People think oh, look at him, he's out here doing blah blah blah. And obviously, I'm not claiming to save lives or some shit like that, so it's different. But
to each their own.
But I just, all I would like is just people who are local to rather than go oh, what a clown out here, I don't know. I feel sometimes what I do is underappreciated a little bit, to be honest.
Appreciate's not,
Maybe that's
wrong opinion about it, or I would say valued,
yeah, definitely,
or understood, understood, because no one has to value or appreciate what you do. It'll go, which is why I wouldn't use those terms, but understood,
sure,
is that because sure, you might come off like what you are, a clown, you're goofy, whatever, in all your videos.
That's my brain.
That's all. That's just who you are.
Yeah.
If it were that easy to just get lucky, and then why isn't everybody?
Yeah, go to
YouTube.
Go to whatever guy
starts at Instagram.
Go to a guy and girl I had the beef with.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it takes effort, hard effort and work to do it. There's coming back. There's editing.
Do you think?
There's a ton that goes into it. If it were that easy to just get lucky and make these connections and get to this level of subscribers and make this amount of money in sponsorships and whatnot, then why doesn't everybody who starts trying make it?
Do you know how many people I know that want to do what I'm doing?
Lots.
I know a lot. You know how many have done it? Almost none. And you know why? Lack of effort and consistency. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe talent too. Of course, talent too. I don't want to neglect talent because I do think I'm a good personality. I do think that.
Yes. Well, some people just don't that's not offensive to say. Some people just don't have
Well, this lady and this guy don't got that. And I don't have the work ethic or honestly the brains to do it. Because neither of them, they're it'd be me trying to.
Let's not talk about brains.
No, he's gonna hit the bar, but Sorry. Yeah, I knew I had it, but I held it.
You held it.
But
That's a good idea.
but I love it. I think it's really good we talked about this, and it really hits me deep. I don't know. I wanna open the floor to you with questions, and I just want you to hit everything. We'll do them kind of rapid fire, but before we say that, I don't know, like, I don't claim to be the most religious guy of all time, but I swear to you, to me, it's like it's a very religious thing. This whole scenario to me represents like good and evil. Was there ever a point where you thought I would lose?
No, like there's just not. Sometimes I think I don't want to say dream big. Or as I've said before, a little cocky. But I think that is important to have because look at the growth that has happened from then to now. If you have confidence and believe in yourself and what you're doing, you will make some sort of growth, whether it's small over time and becomes large or it's rapid and continues, whatever, but you've made that growth because you believed in yourself, but you ultimately also believed in the reasons why you were doing it because they were the real reasons why you were doing it. And when you can actually, you can't develop a business strategy or a growth plan around a lie because then you can't because your plan is built around one thing that's written on paper, but it's not your real reason for doing it. Like if your reason is to, or your, where you want to get to, and you say, I want to get to China, but your real plan is to go to Australia. Well, if your whole plan's written around getting to China, how am I going to get to Australia? Like that's the most layman's terms I can put it in, But you built your plan around what you wanted to do and are going there. Well, when you have fake intentions, you can't get there because that's not what the plan says. So, no, I don't think you would have ever lost. You were approached inauthentically to begin a friendship with somebody with their intentions to truly be to use you
And then
and the reach that you had in the moment and then knock you down because they were insecure in the fact that you were bigger than them in the area that we live in.
Facts.
And then they began that plan once they used you. And their event grew in size. And they thought, now I can do this without you because I'm on the platform. I'm out there. People know who I am. So I can knock him down in the behind the scenes while still looking like, I'm perfect.
And kill him.
And rise above him.
Not
that is, in the most summarized version, what took place.
Yeah.
Who were you hurt by more in this situation, the male or the female?
The dude, for sure.
And why? And your briefest of explanation.
Well, I thought we were friends. I had tried so hard to, I've said it forever. Like, I always felt like I wasn't cool enough in life, always. And I felt like I had to sell myself to this person and be like, yo, I am cool enough. And I thought I had made it. And then obviously I didn't. And that really hurt me a lot. So, yeah, I would say the dude for sure.
What were the biggest lies? I don't think we touched on it at all in the pod. As far as numbers. Oh, no, we did once.
So I'll touch on it real quick. So biggest numbers was, so when we did the first event at this property that was less than, I think it was 10 acres, we had what I was told. Again, I didn't have control of the numbers, so they could be totally fake. I was told it was 177. This person had told me they had 350. A gigantic lie. Obviously.
What didn't they tell you it was like over 400 or something at their next event?
Yeah, which it was not.
Right?
It was not. Yeah. Yeah, so the numbers are always hugely inflated by probably 3x. Whereas our numbers, if you want them, I'll release them. I don't give a shit. I'll put out the Spotify actual analytic, Shopify analytics. I don't even care because I'm not.
Well, I have a spreadsheet of it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. So I will put out the real numbers.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I think we've sold 170 tickets for BDC3. There you go.
Yeah, with a month and a half to go.
Oh, it's going to be odd.
Subscribe to the pod. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome back to the United States. Let's get ready for TAC next week.
Perfect.